Hello, everyone. You are watching Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing talk show. My name is Christian Karasevich, CEO and founder of socialchefs.com. And we've got a fantastic show for you this week. This is episode 178. We're really getting up there in terms of episode numbers. I've been doing this for quite a few years. I'm going to pop on and say a quick hello. And, I really love this. I love just overall just talking social media because there's a lot that you can get out of this as a business. I was having a chat with our guest for this week before the show, and we were talking about, like different industries. And she mentioned, what her friends and her relatives do. And it's, and she's like, oh, they don't do anything really social media related, but it makes me think, what? Yeah, actually every business can use social media. It's a fantastic medium to market your business. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind is social media is not a one-stop shop. It's not something that like, hey, I can use social media and all of a sudden all my problems in my business are going to be solved. So you have to keep that in mind. There's a lot that social media can help you with, but you do have to take the right approach. So I'm just going to say a quick hello. Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for joining us wherever you're located. For me, it's the afternoon. For Phil, I think it's the evening or morning, actually. And Fiona, I think our guest, I think it's the evening there as well. But I'm going to go and bring on Phil. Then we're going to get started with the show. We're going to bring on our guest. But lots and lots and lots of good stuff to talk to you about this week. And I know things that Phil is really excited about, for instance, these topics. So Phil, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, Christian, good morning. Yeah, it's 8:05. If anybody's watching live, it's 8:05 Eastern time. And in the Pacific time zone, it's 5:05. So if we have any of our friends that are in California or Oregon, boy, it's early. So it's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you as well. And, I know this week, I know that you are particularly excited about this week's topics, mainly because there's so many of them that really speak to your expertise, your background, and so I can't wait to talk about these. I can't wait to talk about the Facebook update either, because I think that's the really, really, really big update as well. That's going to affect a lot of marketers and especially a lot of social media marketers and agencies. But before we get started, I want to bring in our guest. This is a friend of mine, Fiona Lucas. She goes by the Twitter handle, I think it's I Respect Online. How are you doing, Fiona?
I'm good. Can you hear me now today?
You sound beautiful.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, it's just after midnight, so it's pumpkin hour.
Wow.
So wow. We got the whole gamut covered. Phil's got the morning. You got the I got the afternoon. You've got the evening.
24 hours covered just like that.
How was the day, Fiona? I just got to ask because I'm just getting mine started. How was the day? What do I have to look forward to?
Oh, it's a pretty good day. It's awesome. You'll win at everything. I know, it's great when you come from the future, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding, huh? No kidding. So is that why you get all the changes before we do? So you can, because you're in the future?
That's it, definitely. No, actually, with Facebook, they just give people different random changes, and I have no idea what lottery you go in to get those.
I don't think anybody does. That's funny.
and that's the thing, with the show that we always do here, we talk about topics that we know are either they're out there somewhere. So for example, it could be there for people that are, for instance, in Australia. Phil might have some back in the States, for example. And the thing to keep in mind with this is, we try to position everything that we talk about from the perspective of a business. So for example, how can this feature apply to you as a business so that if you do have it, you can start implementing it immediately. But if you don't, you can at least start thinking about it or start to change your strategy, because there's a lot of things you have to think about. You can't just like all of a sudden, like a lot of things, it does take work. So it takes, restructuring a strategy or kind of really thinking, how does this apply to me in my industry? For example, last week we had Tamara on, and she works in the, funeral industry for social media. So for her, she has certain ways that she has to do things that really resonate towards her audience. So really looking forward to talking about all these topics this week. Phil, by the way, if you want to slide over to I think you're right. Yeah, that's perfect. We'll get you right here in front and center in the camera. I know you got that blinds.
Morning sun.
Sun blinds going.
It's right across your head.
Yeah.
See, I joked with him earlier, it went right across his forehead, and then he had one point he moved, and it had like.
If I sit up, so keep talking. I'll move. It is a standing desk, so I'm going to stand.
There you go.
I don't know. That'll work. So we'll keep going.
So if
keep
everybody's
going.
watching, by the way, I want to thank you all for tuning in. A couple of guests I see here. We've got Lisa stopping in. We've got Joanne Paul, Dorian, Morgan Van Dam as well on as a number of other people. But for those of you watching, if you're watching us live, do us a favor, hit the share button, tag your friends. I'm going to actually start up a Facebook watch party here in a second for the show as well, so that we can get this, we can bring some more people in. Again, if you have questions about anything or you have thoughts, leave those in the comments. This way, we'll do our best to answer them, and try to bring your comment on screen as well. So, Phil, where do you want to start as far as the topics go this week?
Well, there's so much we could do. Let's do the one that I think is going to take the least amount of time to talk about, and that's Instagram Direct on the web. Now that Instagram is testing a web version of direct messages, which I think is really, really interesting. And it's a move towards, I think, opening up the platform for more marketing automation, which removes Instagram. They should call it Latergram. I don't know. Fiona, what do you think?
Well, it seems to just be the way they're heading. They opened it up so that they were talking about having Facebook, Instagram, and what's the other one I'm trying to say? I went to say WeChat. That's not one.
WhatsApp.
What's that? I just feel like they're definitely trying to compete with WeChat. I know Lisa and I have been on WeChat and found ourselves rather lonely there, but just to see what it was like. What's going to happen when they do that? Yeah, I'm a little bit worried we'll get all overwhelmed. There's only so many places we can have our eyeballs, and I think people start to sort of react terribly when they're inundated with messages everywhere. But I guess we'll wait to see. It'll be interesting to know how they actually want this to work. I'm still not 100% sure how they're wanting this to, what they're trying to achieve with it, really.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It looks to me, as they move more and more to the desktop of this, I think it's getting more and more agency driven. We're seeing that they've got two-factor authentication. They added that last year. They're unifying the platform. So just like, Facebook has messenger.com. I don't know if anybody of you use that, but that's actually how I get my Facebook messages, because I don't have any notifications turned on in my browser. I'll go to messenger.com and I view that. To me, this is like, especially as they're unifying platforms, perhaps they're going to unify the desktop experience, and you'll have three tabs. You'll have your Messenger tab for Facebook, you'll have WhatsApp as another tab, and then you'll have your Instagram tab. Again, if you're an agency, person.
3 tabs though, yuck. Think they'll just stream them all in and color code them?
Well, they could do that too, sure. I mean, in fact, Agora Pulse does that now with a lot of the inboxing, which That's is true. All, and it's still a tab. I mean, it's just on the side. Because to your point, I guess when I say tabs, I just mean 3 different views. I don't necessarily mean 3 tabs across the top, right? But just 3 different views that we can have. Because again, I don't know. I like to keep them a little bit separate. I don't like them all mingled, because how I talk on one platform might not be the same voice as another platform, or at least how I'm looking at them, right? I might have one client here that I look at, one client here, might be a little bit different brand voice too.
True. Yeah, look, I think it obviously is more, as you said, agency driven, because I think the average user is just going to, start to freak out if they've got too much there, particularly if they've got ads coming into every single area as well.
Yeah.
Like if we start forcing, too much advertising and marketing through Messenger, I think it's going to really turn people off.
Yeah, for sure. Christian, what do you think, dude?
I think that I'm really excited that Instagram is finally starting to move things to the desktop. I think they're taking a bit of a cautious approach here. So in a way, they're sort of learning some of these things from Snapchat. How Snapchat did their whole redesign. A lot of people were not thrilled with that. They're kind of taking a bit of a cautious approach with that. And they're also having to factor in just the whole, people really understanding that, how things like being very careful, for instance, with the mobile experience, but also needing to understand, hey, you know what? Facebook was our bread and butter. Instagram is now where everything is at, and just being very, very, very overly cautious in a way because they don't want to mess up that platform. So I think that at some point, and I've been saying this for the past, I don't know how many years it's been since we've basically been running this show, that, Instagram, Facebook, they need to merge at some point. And I think we're going to start to see a lot of that over the coming months for sure. Like a couple weeks ago, they started with merging direct message and Messenger, kind of playing to your same point there. You got messenger.com. This could just be, basically moving that piece into place so that they can get everything merged properly, I think.
Yeah. Well, and know though that most of the almost all the content on Instagram, on Facebook is consumed mobily. So I don't does it impact the user? To your point about ticking people off like Snapchat did? I don't think so. I think this really is mostly an agency, kind of a marketer play as opposed to a user experience play.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, for instance, Twitter, let's use Twitter. Let's put them in this conversation here. Twitter owns TweetDeck. And so, they also, for instance, their way of making it easy, for instance, for a lot of businesses use that platform because it's free to manage their Twitter channel. So it could be also maybe one of those moves as well to actually have a decent web version of their platform. What do you guys think, by the way? Do you think that overall should Instagram actually have, a desktop version, or do you think that every feature should be available or some features?
I think they're absolutely going to have advertising on the desktop. I think that's a no-brainer, right? Because upload stories is creative. I mean, we're going to see that more and more driven as it becomes a full media platform instead of a mobile media platform. I think that's important. But yeah, I don't think that they're going to go full on, again, user experience. I don't see that being important on the desktop.
How about you?
Well, I feel like the desktop is, again, more for us. We're creating, sometimes you want to be able to load videos that you've created and those sort of things, whereas the average user is doing it on the fly and they're out and about. But for us, we're actually creating other content to push on. So I think it's really important that we, look at who the experience is for, and then that we have that ability to be able to quickly upload things, because there's nothing worse than creating something that you then have to move to your phone in order to put it up. It becomes really frustrating from a marketer's perspective, that's for sure. But whether I can't see the average user that's on there now and the demographic that is, they love how it works now. Why would they want to, go onto the desktop particularly? I just don't think they would.
Yeah.
Thinking of the particularly that sort of 20s, 30s bracket, they're just on the move. They're busy. They don't have time to sit in front of a laptop, you know.
And I'll say this, and by the way, this is just a feature that they are testing right now. So, if you go to Instagram on your desktop, you may see it, you may not. It really comes down to what Instagram decides they want to roll out to their users. And remember, a lot of times features get rolled out and they don't get rolled out to everyone at once. It's basically a big testing environment, which that must be fantastic for a company to be able to have all of your users essentially testing everything at once, giving you a lot of feedback, I think, for your business. So
totally agree.
Where do you want to go next?
Oh, well, let's, we're going to talk about LinkedIn and Facebook. I think we should go to Facebook next, what they're doing with ads. Facebook is now going to say who actually uploaded your contact info, which, if you're going to remember, probably 6 months ago, Facebook said they're going to be more transparent in who and looking at other people's ad sets. Well, I think this is just the next step in that. I would love to know who uploaded my contact info for retargeting. This really makes some of those skeeve balls who connect on LinkedIn, download their contacts, and then, LinkedIn doesn't let that happen anymore because of GDPR and Castle and some privacy concerns. But I really think this is going to be interesting because I'm going to tell you, all the auto dealers because I look through to see who has access to my info. Some auto dealer bought my data everywhere but Florida. So if I want to go to New Mexico, I've got 8 car dealers that want to talk to me. If I want to look locally, not one of them has my info in their set, which makes it completely useless. So we'll see. I don't know, but I'd like this transparency. I think this is really big on making people trust Facebook more, which I'm absolutely all for, because we always knew that our data was at risk. If you didn't know that, if you didn't realize that you're the product, you frankly are living in the past. So I think this is great. Really good move. So Fiona, what do you think?
I'm absolutely with you on this one, Phil. I've always been one for transparency and having things out there for people to see what's going on with them. I actually had something pop up today, and I had a look and thought, it's funny with all this where you see the targeting. I know some people will panic about it, and there's a two-edged sword to it, which of course is that you don't want ads that are rubbish to you that you don't care about. I guess if you're going to have to see an ad, you'd rather it be interesting. But I don't know if you're probably like me. We have lots of different clients. I'm always researching on 101 subjects, so the poor damn thing doesn't know what to send me anyway. I don't think I'm always looking up a completely different subject at another time. But I think as far as people know, and particularly with younger people and youth, we need to know if they're collecting data. I'm not sure of what the rules are globally, but I certainly know in Australia we're not allowed to collect the data and market to the data of teens. So this might actually start showing that, and I'm definitely glad if it's the end of the people that do that dump from LinkedIn and those sort of things, because the buying and selling of lists, I think, has been detrimental to, a lot of small businesses trying to fight against people that do that sort of, black hat kind of marketing in a way. So definitely having this transparency, I think, is good, but we also need to make sure people understand what they're seeing there. But I don't think it's going to stop the people who, as you said, it's not for free. You're giving up something to have these platforms. And I don't think it's going to stop the people doing those damn quizzes, stuff like that gives away half their data and all their friends as well, because they just seem to keep loving it. Everybody wants to know if they're a unicorn or a donkey or whatever.
A donkey? Well, are you calling me an ass, Fiona? Christian, what did you tell her about me? This is our first time talking. She's already, wow, you're already on to me, Fiona. That's impressive. It took you 20 minutes to figure me out. That's pretty good. That's like
an algorithm tracking.
Absolutely. Christian, what do you think, dude?
So I think overall, there's a couple things I really like about this. So by the way, on the screenshot I have pulled up here, this is basically what you're going to see. So you're going to see the business that is trying to, or the Facebook page that's trying to access your information, basically to add you to Facebook custom audiences. They're also going to show you when they uploaded your information, what you actually matched on Facebook, for example. And then in addition, for example, in this example, it's like partner allowed such and such company to send ads to this customer list on Facebook without revealing your personal information. And then obviously they're going to show that you saw this ad. So I think this is a fantastic update from Facebook. One, I think it helps with their transparency as a company. But I also think what is important here is everybody who is, and this is going to scare a lot of people, I think, anybody who is running Facebook ads, if you are using those tactics, for example, it's taking somebody's email address you got through a LinkedIn export, taking a business card that somebody gave you. By the way, you cannot take somebody's business card that has an email address and put it in your list. They are going to make you, as a Facebook ads user, you're going to have to agree that you rightfully obtain this information and that you can upload it. And I think this is huge because it's going to affect agencies. There's a lot of scammy and a lot of slimy agencies out there. There's a lot of social media marketers that do the same exact thing. I mean, I can name a ton of them. We're not going to do that, but I can name a ton of them that do it. That's not the way you do business. And so I'm glad that Facebook is making these updates. I think that, and I think the interesting part is going to be, for instance, when say a digital marketing agency decides they want to market to other digital marketers, if they're going to show up in the, in this notification here. But I think this is a really big update, a really good update. I actually want to see harsher penalties, I think, for businesses that are not using your information correctly.
Yeah. What do you think they will do? Do you think they will penalize people?
Well, if you think about it, canned spam right now is enforced by the government, which means it's not enforced, right? I mean, it's not. It's not. They got bigger fish to fry. Let's just be honest. But think about it. If they actually say, Christian, since you uploaded that list, you can't advertise on any ad manager for 30 days. That's a big penalty, right? I mean, basically, you're invisible for 30 days. It makes it really clear that if you cheat, you're going to get busted. Now I got to tell you, Jasper's Market there looks like a legitimate marketer, right? They collected it maybe at the at the checkout stand, and they got some email addresses, and people know. And even though it's offline, they likely can then upload that list and prove that it's not all just in my handwriting. That's totally legit. On the other hand, we see these folks that go out and they scrape lists and they upload them. I mean, there are so many digital marketers out there that pass stuff from list to list to list. And many of the opt-in forms say, hey, we don't sell your information, but we might loan it to my friend Christian here. And I think now Christian's going to have to say, I actually got this list. Phil didn't give me this list. This is a big deal.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people, they go to conferences, for example, Phil, they go to conferences and they go to conferences and all they do is they network with people. They get their business cards, they got your email address. They put it up on their, in their Facebook ads or custom audience. And hey, now all of a sudden they are getting some value out of that conference they attended.
Spam in the place where you live, baby. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of my frustrations. That we were just talking about that in a local business group. How you have visitors come along and they grab your business card. That's fine if they want to get in touch with you, but then they put you on a mailing list and you get these rubbish bloody deals that you really don't want to have. So it's like, sorry, I said bloody, and now I've said it again because I was telling you that I said it. Sorry.
That's a good word by me. It is blood. I totally agree with you. I mean,
I just think it's so rude. I don't react that way. If I took someone's business card and I want to follow them up, I will email them personally and say what I wanted. That let's meet up, or I'll call them. But I'm not going to put them on my list.
Yeah.
But people are lazy. Yeah.
And kind of to your point here, also, you talked about, if there was a penalty, for instance, say it's a 30-day penalty, you also have to remember this doesn't just affect Facebook. This also could potentially, because Instagram, their ads run through Facebook Ads Manager. We haven't even broached the subject of WhatsApp ads. So, a 30-day ban, for instance, and then maybe say a 60-day ban, then maybe a 90-day ban, and then maybe a lifetime ban, for instance, could even happen, I think. So I want to see more harsh penalties for people that are misusing your data from that perspective.
Yeah. And one last point about this is, let's not forget, not only is it the people you upload, but also then the ability to make a lookalike audience out of that. That's the real value here, folks. And the real penalty, right? If I go to a trade show and I accidentally get somebody's list and I upload that and then I make 30 lookalike audiences, that's the real stretch here. And I really think this is really going to affect trade show people as they really think about what is the value that they're giving their vendors. They can't give the list anymore. I mean, I'm already starting to see many trade shows who are saying, no. You can get people to your booth, but first of all, you better make it really clear that for that free pen that you just gave away, or that entry into the $100 Amazon gift card, that you're going to put them on your list. You're going to upload, you're going to retarget them on Facebook. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. I really think this is a freaking game changer for the event industry.
Yeah. So, they're really going to have to make sure they have opt-ins. They're going to have to make it like everyone has to sign a disclaimer or whatever that they've proved it's their own list, I guess. Well, just to close it on the front end, right? So attending this conference, just understand that every booth you go to, if they scan your badge, it means they're going to spam the hell out of you. That's really what you're going to have to say. Because, and it's true, right? They're going to follow you from platform to platform. We're not going to build relationships with you, and all we're going to do is force feed you advertising. Thanks for joining our conference. Here's your swag, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, hold on.
People want the flag.
Hold on. Did I mention I gave you a nice pen? Here's a really nice pen. It's worth 40 cents.
Yeah.
Take two if you like, right? So yeah, I think that's a big deal for sure.
And by the way, on this, this does not, it's starting February 28th. So you do have about 2 weeks, if you have been engaging in any of these sorts of practices, to consider. Hopefully this will make you reconsider how you're doing things, how you're running your business, how you're conducting your business, because I think there could be, much more harsh ramifications. And as Diana here mentions, she says, hey, this is a game changer. I assume you're talking about the Facebook custom audience transparency feature, right?
Yeah. Well, and the fact that you can't hit trade shows. So if you don't know Diana, if you go to tradeshowmakeover.com, that's her business with Alice Hyman. And so Diana really focuses on building those relationships at the trade show and is masterful at it with Alice Hyman. That's their business. So you should definitely, she knows this is a game changer. She knows this is going to make trade shows be even different for how they get ROI, which really plays into her business extremely well.
By the way, the other part of this that I'm very fascinated to see kind of how this impacts businesses is you are going to want to be careful about which agencies you work with, because a lot of times people say, hey, I'm going to hire an agency. They're going to help me with my digital marketing. And that agency, for instance, might very likely is using a lot of these practices, that could get you as a business penalized. So, we don't do that here at Social Chefs. So, just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Fiona. Nope, go.
I was just going to say, you just remind me of a conversation I had with someone not long ago, sort of doing their own marketing and stuff. And I saw some things they were doing and I said, oh, that's kind of black hat. Like, what are you doing in regards to using, data and stuff, names? And they were getting taught it at their business school.
Wow. Well, that's always an interesting thing, right? In the theory and the practice, the sad part is if you're going to a traditional college, or university, it might be 3 or 4 years before they bake this back into the textbook, because this is new. I mean, if they're just now talking about advertising and how to advertise on Facebook, oh my goodness gracious, right? That's really tough stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, this is really, really big. That part about the agency, you got to understand, if they're managing if they're in your Facebook business manager, it's guilt by association.
Yep.
You're guilty if they are, if they're cheating. So you better look at some of these agencies who promise these 40% returns on your dollar. And they really can't deliver that. So really important also that the people that you hire to manage your pages, you better vet them. You better know. You better know who the heck they are, because otherwise you just don't know. It's going to be pretty sad. Pretty sad. So, hey, Christian, you mentioned our email, man. We got to make sure people sign up for that. If you want more news like this, go to socialchefs.com/daily. It's not my list. It's actually Christian's list, and he does a great job of curating it each and every day for you. That's at socialchefs.com/daily. We're going to be doing some special stuff for people signed up for the list only. So make sure that you stay tuned to that and sign up if you're not already at socialchefs.com/daily for some more impactful stuff like this, so that you can really hear how these changes impact your business.
And he won't spam you, and he won't sell your name onto him.
That's right. You won't even share it with me, right? So absolutely.
So I'm excited to talk about this next topic, by the way. So Phil, I know LinkedIn is your bread and butter. So which one do you want to do, the LinkedIn Live feature? Or do we want to talk LinkedIn groups?
Oh, well, so the groups is the less sexy piece. So let's start with Live, because I really think this is a big deal. So LinkedIn debuting Live right now, 10 people have it, right? It's really small, controlled group. But LinkedIn Live, hopefully they take the best of Facebook Live. Hopefully they really give company pages and groups and all the different elements, not just people. Because if they just do people again, like they're doing with some of these features, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. But if they do this for all the different units, right? If they do this on Recruiter, if they do this, different places, I really think this could be big. I'm super excited that it's finally coming. They promised Q1. I personally thought Q4. I mean, I personally thought end of Q2 with all the other changes they have, and I'm jacked. They're ahead of where I thought. So, and it's going to change the game on LinkedIn. What do you think, Fiona?
Yeah, I think we're all excited about this one. And looking at the fine print and reading, as many articles as I could about it and their own news bulletin, it really is unclear as to how far they're actually going to put it out. But I feel like Pages, they're talking more about Pages. They've recently revamped the whole look of Pages. So that makes me feel, and the ability to talk and share between you and your page has improved. So hopefully that would be one of the first places that they put it. I wouldn't be particularly fussed if an individual couldn't do it, because it could get incredibly noisy in there. And as long as it stays quality, one of the things I've loved about LinkedIn tends to be better research or higher quality opinions and things like that. And, if you want to be careful to make sure you're vetting what is being said, or in some way that it's keeping the quality up there, rather than just getting on and going, oh, look, it's a sunny day today. Isn't that wonderful? Here's some flowers. It's like we've got.
You just talked about my last 5 Facebook Lives, Fiona. What the heck?
There's so many nice places you can do that stuff. And I think, but I mean, to be able to have live instead of that semi-live that we've had when it was like, record it and then upload it straight away, that was kind of a bit frustrating to say the least. But, look, if everyone has it, it's fine, as long as they use it well and it's not just for the sake of it, that people have purpose with what they're trying to talk about, I think. Yeah. What about you, Christian? What do you reckon?
So I think overall, I am really excited about just the way they are rolling this out. So, for example, it's business minded. I mean, they're looking to roll this out for covering conferences, product announcements, Q&As, events that are led. So the key thing is not just like, hey, we're doing this for events, but events led by influencers and mentors, which are typically higher quality LinkedIn users. Office hours from a big tech company, earnings calls, graduation and awards ceremonies, and more. So none of that right there screams profile or individual, unless you are an influencer. And typically, as I mentioned, if you're an influencer, you get a certain type of account, you get certain denotations on LinkedIn. So I think that this is a fantastic way to roll this out. LinkedIn has always been considered the digital Rolodex, essentially, for somebody's personal life. And, it's mostly been, I put my work colleagues on there and whatnot, and I never really go and check it, but they're really starting to, I think, start to hit a bunch of home runs here with a lot of their updates. I like the fact that, they're not rolling this out to just individual users, because this will get businesses doing it the right way. And I think if a business is doing it first, and like I said, these are features that big companies chances are going to be using, it's going to then, I think, help as it trickles down to the individual user, hopefully improve the quality. Or maybe the user will meet them halfway instead of having to kind of go all the way to the bottom and have a bunch of people just kind of use it the wrong way. So I love the update of this. Unfortunately, it's only in the US. Unfortunately, it's very limited. They're going to roll a contact form out, that you can sign up for. Hopefully it'll be better than the one that Facebook normally gives you, which is, you're still on a list and something actually hit your account yet. But I think it's a great update. Phil, what do you think? LinkedIn Live.
Well, so first thing, if they put us on a list and they retarget us on Facebook, is that then legal? That's the first question I've got. So just kidding, right? So, but around this, I do think this could really change the game. Diana's gearing here about as on trade shows, and I can totally see this being a trade show booth thing where they can bring people in. You can do a demonstration. You can get people to sign up via LinkedIn, right there at the demo. They one click, they scan their QR code off their phone, because we all have now a QR code on our LinkedIn. We scan that and boop, transfers the information. It's all clean. And with that, then LinkedIn becomes the advertising platform instead of on Facebook, where right now, I mean, as much as I love my work, and I really do, I love what I do. I'm fortunate to do it with people I love. I want to be on Facebook and not talk so much about business. And I think this now says, hey, if you want to talk about business, go to LinkedIn
Just a
because
community of just business-minded
that's
people.
right. Yeah, let's
100%.
talk about business. Fantastic stuff. If I want to talk about personal stuff, come to Facebook. So I really think this is big. I can't wait to see how they roll this out. The one thing that I want to make sure that they do, because they already offer us a URL for each post, is I would love to see them let us embed these videos into articles so we can get even more views.
Absolutely.
And you know, that would be a big thing.
By the way, it's not mentioned here, but another thing that is also included in this article, which I think is huge, is that they're going to be working with a number of third-party live streaming software tools. So, for example, I do live streaming right now. You know, I've used BeLive, I use Wirecast, I use Phil and I were talking. I'm starting to use a lot of other high-end live streaming tools that get away from just software-based tools. And you know, a lot of these tools, for instance, that they're mentioning, Wirecast, Switcher Studio, Wowza Media Solutions, which basically is real-time hardware for live video, Social Live, Brand Live, as well as a few more. So the thing you don't see there are a lot of these little smaller players that are software-based live video. So I think that is also a key thing, because chances are the people that are using those pieces of software are not going to be individual users or small business owners. They're going to be the big, very large company, because they're very expensive pieces of software. So I think this is all going to play right into what you're thinking there, Phil.
Yeah. LinkedIn TV yet? Maybe.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. I mean, well, and remember, and really important to stress for those that are listening, remember that LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. Yes. Always remember that. That means there's a ton of money behind this, which means this is not the last boom they make. I bet they buy their own live streaming platform. In fact, I'd love to see them buy BeLive and integrate that into Bing search results. Live video, index all the live videos and import that into Bing search results so that people can see in real time what's on right now, which could, I mean, that'd make me use Bing more, because I can't do that right now. Yeah.
What purpose does Bing have right now, really?
Right.
Well, for me, anyway, I don't go there much. I go there just to do I go there to see. To do reputation checks to make sure no one's being talked about. That's about all. Do you think, what about the, because the LinkedIn events, I don't think they've rolled that out, or they haven't to my end anyway yet. Have you seen that, the events platform?
No, they've talked about bringing that back for years. Yeah,
they talked about that in November, about the new events sort of app. So I figure all this is going to work into it. On the other LinkedIn thing was the jobs recruiter and pipeline all being put into this intelligent hiring. So have you read about that? That's just the newest thing as well. And they're now using machine learning, which is kind of a bit scary, because it means, for me, I think when I'm talking to someone young or someone who's about to do a career change, the way they set up their profile is going to mean so much more when you have got machine learning looking at what a recruiter looks for and starts identifying the types of people they normally seem to go for, and then starts serving those people to them based on that, and then sort of pushing away the ones they've rejected previously. It's kind of scary, that part, because I've got a human resources degree in the back of my old life as well, and just the way that I know that you can have someone present a certain way on paper, but they are the perfect person in actual fact for the job, because it's about people and how they react to each other. So sometimes it's when you've met someone in an interview, you suddenly know they're a really good fit, even though maybe on paper they didn't look as good. So I find all that artificial intelligence and machine learning stuff to be both fascinating and kind of terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Go ahead. And I would say, and at the same time, I mean, I think we talked about this topic on the show previously about how artificial intelligence was going to help. I mean, it does help from the perspective of, you know, being able to, for instance, if it's jobs, it actually weeds out the people based off of artificial intelligence versus having somebody who's actually, for instance, going through resumes and maybe they don't even have the background in that industry, you know, and they're looking for like the buzzwords. So, for example, if it's like, hey, I'm applying for a digital marketing position, they're looking for social media, they're looking for Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and things like that. and, beyond other, and there's a lot more things they should be looking for besides just a lot of those buzzwords. But yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
So LinkedIn Live, big update. I mean, if you're watching, the show right now, do you use LinkedIn Live, do you use live video, for example, for your business? If so, which platform are you primarily on? Are you, is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Snapchat? Do you think you'd use LinkedIn Live much more? If that's where your audience is at, let us know in the comments, whether it's the YouTube video, the blog post, or this live video. Phil, do you want to, anything else you want to go over, or do you want to move into tool time? What do you want to do?
No. So, well, I should just say, right, they're rolling out updates on LinkedIn to groups. And we're going to drop some good stuff for you about what's changing in the groups in the email. So make sure you sign up at daily at the socialchefs.com/daily. Get the daily newsletter. We'll talk about groups in there because there's some changes with the groups. They're slowly rolling it out. We'll see how much they offer. A lot of chatter with people that are saying, oh, it's not enough or it's too much. So the jury's still out, but do pay attention and do sign up for the newsletter. Again, we'll share that out probably in the recap notes, and it'll be in this article that Christian's going to write. You'll get that tomorrow. Well, Fiona, I guess you'll get that today, depending on which part of the future you're from. But yeah, but sign up, folks, at socialchefs.com/daily. Get that update because groups it's a big one. We could talk all day about LinkedIn changes because it really is the business platform for any B2B business. But I do think it's important that we talk about tools. Fiona, first of all, I love your glasses. Those are fantastic. So thank you for bringing the noise. Christian, we got to get you some specs, dude. That's all there is to it. So yeah, so let's move on to tool time. This is my favorite part of the show. This is where we talk about 2 tools that we have that we think are going to help impact your business. So Fiona, we're going to let you pick because you're our wonderful guest today. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Ooh, gee. Let me see. How about, I'm just looking, I tried to write some notes on it. What about campsite? Let's do campsite first.
Campsite.
Yeah.
So, yep. So bring that up, Christian. Let's talk about campsite. Campsite is a fantastic tool to outfit your social bios there. So if you only get one link, it's going to be like Linktree, right? It's going to give you some different stuff here. So Fiona, have you used this before or anything like this?
I haven't used it, but I was having a really good look at it. And what I liked that was different about Linktree is that because you can have the image there, and certainly for people with products, I think that's an amazing way to be able to share and launch and have those anyone who's an influencer and pushing a product is going to love it because I can just host all their different everything's there with that one link. It's kind of cool. I almost felt like, is Instagram going to go, do we like this? Because it almost feels like you're sort of cheating the system. But to be able to go there and have all those different things with a visual, I think that is more engaging than a bunch of lines, of text. That's for sure.
In addition to that, yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, I mean, in addition to that, there's, a lot of times, for instance, if somebody is using a tool for, for example, if they want to drive people back to, a blog post or maybe a recent podcast or something they published, a lot of people will make a comment and they'll say, check link in bio or something like that. And they have to quickly go in and change all that information. The great thing about this is it basically does this. It helps you create one link. So you still play with the one link, for instance, in say Instagram, but when somebody clicks on it, they get access to basically a landing page that you did for your business. So it's a fantastic way to drive people to things. You could be a little more strategic. For example, if you want to talk categories, you could say, hey, I'm going to set up a landing page essentially for my business. I'm going to put on it my blog, my social media channel that I want them to connect with me on, maybe a podcast if you do a video show, for example. Yeah. So you could have everything in one place. You could have products in there. You could have services. Yeah. You make it as complicated or as easy as you want to make it. So it's a fantastic tool, I think. And it doesn't just apply to social media channels. It could be Facebook. It could be Instagram. It could be, your WhatsApp message, for example. It could be your status in your WhatsApp message. If somebody has a link that they type in, It could be something that you put in, for instance, that, gets tweeted out, maybe once a month on Twitter, for example, or once a week. So people are always aware of what you do as a business owner. So I think lots and lots and lots of usefulness here.
Well, and it's
Phil,
it's $7 a month. And if it's just for the link, I would tell you, I don't know that I would use it. I mean, the free version is great, but here's one little cool tactic you can use. And that is, you notice that you can use a custom domain through this, which means you can retarget people, which means everywhere that you go, you can then get your Facebook cookie and you can then retarget there. And, LinkedIn's got the same thing. So now you no longer have just cold traffic. We now have kind of, I would call this social traffic, kind of in the middle here, where it isn't quite hot traffic. It's not going to convert tomorrow, but you now have an ability to say, and to build into some of these marketing automation platforms, you can now build in to say, if they have the cookie, then sign them up for this email or then serve up this ad. There's some really cool tools out there that are really going to help you with this. Again, but you need the pro plan to do this, because if you can send them through, then you can catch them. Even if you're just sending them back, you're still getting an opportunity here to retarget because they're social traffic, which for me is absolutely worth $7 a month.
Now, for me, so to your point, Phil, about the whole retargeting piece, I think that's important. But to me, the other part I think that's really good for even just paying the $7 a month is to get a detailed view of your traffic and also to see when people are online. So, for example, there's a day-by-day breakdown of your link clicks, which I think is important because then it makes you want to rethink your strategy. So, for example, if you're posting everything because, hey, it's convenient for me, and got to remember, it's about the customer. It's not about you, the business owner. It's about your customer. So if you notice all your customers are clicking your links and they're doing on, say, Wednesdays and Fridays, and you're posting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that simple shift. I mean, that's what, $84 a year. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. If I can spend $84 a year and then make sure I get the right information in front of my customers, I think
to my Aussie friends, that's about $100.
Right. Yeah. Which is,
exchange rate's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, you could always move here. We have room for more people wearing orange, Fiona. So if you'd like to join us, not that it's a plug for orange, but you join us anytime you want. I love it. I saw that. That's great. But yeah, for about $100 a year, right? Let's round up there. For about $100 a year to find out when people are online, to add the Facebook pixel. Right now it says add your Facebook pixel for retargeting. No doubt LinkedIn is going to be not far behind. No doubt, right? No doubt Google's going to be far behind that, right? I mean, I just see, I guess my role here on the show is to make sure that we look in the future, not just in the right now. And that's what I'm seeing, right? I see this retargeting, especially if we then now combine this with the first thing we talked about, which is the Facebook thing. Now this is a much more ethical way to market to people instead of buying lists like some people that we know that will never be on the show. So good stuff there. Good stuff. So Campsite is the website. You'll see that Christian's dropped the link there in the comments. If you haven't seen the link, it'll be in the show notes on the socialchefs.com/blog, or sign up for the daily if you don't want to miss the email at socialchefs.com/daily. So one more tool, buddy, and then we got to run here. One more tool. And
I got one more thing to mention real quick.
Oh, yeah. Go.
People, they might already own landing page tools. So I'm dropping a link in here as well to some other tools. This is for adding more links to your Instagram bio, but you can apply the same principles to your existing landing page tools that you might already be paying for as well. So keep that in mind. But you got Campsite, great tool to test. Second tool, by the way, is Keyhole. So Keyhole is essentially a way for you to track hashtags. You could also use it to monitor brand mentions. So for those of you, for example, who use the old tried and true way of managing, brand mentions, you may be opening a ton of browser tabs and refreshing your tabs and saying, hey, do I have any more like direct messages? Do I have any more, notifications, any more retweets? Very inefficient way to work. Keyhole is a very, very, very powerful tool. Not just used by a lot of B2B companies or B2C companies, but also a lot of small and medium-sized businesses. Fiona, have you used Keyhole, or do you use Keyhole?
I haven't used it, but I was having a good look at it today, and look at me, I'm the worst person with tools because I get stuck in just doing my own do. And when you were saying all those things, I'm going, yeah, when I'm doing social listening for a client, a reputation, it's like crazy because you have so many areas that you've got to keep covering. So being able to monitor in the one place looks great. I love that you could, pick your specific hashtags like that and sort of really build up a good picture because analytics is everything really, isn't it, as well? So you're able to get a much better picture of where you're heading. It sort of even heads into what you were saying with Campsite as well, I think, with being able to hone what you're doing because you're getting a much better picture of where you are getting mentioned with this. So they kind of fit nicely together in a way to me. But, obviously I'm seeing you say event there as well. So anything that you can do when you're tracking those specific hashtags, I think is really, really valuable because it lets you immediately take action too. If you see there's sort of a particular thing going on about, particularly like a negative as well. I was thinking, like with the Gillette ad and stuff like that, when that happened, if they'd been managing their mentions a little bit better, they might have taken some faster action around what was going down and correcting that and getting people to understand it. So it was interesting that, tools like this are there and some of these really big companies aren't using them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, analytics are great, to your point, Fiona. I think there's a lot we can glean. The challenge is which ones do we action, right? And what we need, I think, well, tools like this are fantastic, is let's hope that they add some AI on the top to bubble up the data that can actually help us make better decisions. Because I need to make better decisions. I don't need to play with more tools. I mean, I love tools, don't get me wrong, but what I need more actionable insight. I need to do more things. And a tool like this, if I'm running an influencer marketing campaign, because this is a pay-as-you-go tool, I could do this for 90 days. I could use Keyhole, spend $750. If I'm going to invest $25,000 in an influencer campaign, you can darn sure bet I'm going to get the analytics out because I got to give that back then to the people that paid for that. Right? I gotta justify this. So this is a great tool for ROI. Lots of stuff out there, lots of opportunity to get some real data. Again, campaign plus influencer. If you combine those two, now we can really see some success. Now we can really see some ROI, and this could be powerful. Christian, are you playing with this, or what do you think?
I actually used it before, and I think it's a great tool. I used it when I worked for a very large B2B company. So fantastic tool. I think the other part to me that I think is really useful, we talk influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is a bit taboo. Like it's an area where a lot of people are very skeptical that it works. And, they have a feature, for instance, within Keyhole to be able to help you track mentions from your influencers as well. So when you do hire somebody as an influencer, a lot of times, the influencer is, there aren't really, the requirements are usually pretty loose. Hey, we want you to come to our event. We want you to speak about our event, yada, yada, yada. And then there's no real hey, we wanted you to be active on social. They kind of anticipate that they will be active on social. Most influencers are not in that case. And so this way you actually can go in and say, hey, who are my diamonds in the rough here? Like this person had X amount of followers. This person had, a smaller amount, but hey, they seem to actually be more active, generate more engagement.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going with the wrong actual influencer because remember, audience size does not matter.
I love that.
Business. Like, it's not about hiring the influencer that has the most audience because we all know that audiences can be bought. They can be purchased, obviously, so that, it makes your account look a lot better than it really is. So keep that in mind. And this tool can help you track that along with hashtag usage, help you identify the right ones to use, and so much more. So I think, again, it comes down to, if you're a business, if you're using some of these things in your business, these functions, and you want to get details are in the data, like you need to look at your data, look at the analytics and see what's actually going to help your business, what tweaks you can make. The data will tell you everything that you need to know for the most part.
Awesome. Audience size doesn't matter, folks. You heard it here first on the Social Chat Show, right? And Social Chatter. Audience size doesn't matter. So that's awesome. Keyhole helps with that. So That's a lot of stuff, though. Holy cow. Folks, if you're as blown away as I am by that stuff that we shared today, lots of great insights into LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, make sure that you pay attention to the blog tomorrow. You'll get even more stuff. Go to socialchefs.com/blog to get the latest in the blog, or socialchefs.com/daily to get that, and to connect with our amazing guest. Fiona, you are fantastic. Holy crap, you dropped some smart bombs today. Where can we get more of your awesome sauce?
You'll find me on Facebook and Twitter at I Respect Online, and on Instagram at I Respect Online, and pretty much anywhere I can manage to get my little face. Really.
But by the way, I think, Fiona, did you have anything else you wanted to mention as well for viewers this week? Or
we had such a lovely conversation. I've probably gone and forgotten it now.
I think we talked about a tool earlier as well. Like maybe was it a Valentine's Day special? I'm not sure if they're running a Valentine's Day special.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So if they tune into my page in about, hang on, let me see what time it is here now. It's 1:00 now. So in 5 hours' time, after I've had 4 hours sleep, you can tie it in, and we have got a watch party going on with Murray Smith and Wave. Wave has just completely and utterly redone its whole platform. Great new offers, and they have a Valentine's offer, which we're in the future. So, but we've still got the love, even though the day has gone. And yeah, so I'm not allowed to tell you what it is yet, but for people, particularly if they're in a small agency or they're doing it themselves, they'll love it. They will love it.
I got to say, I heard about it earlier. It's fantastic. Definitely worth checking out. So.
And that's facebook.com/iRespectLive. Is that?
I Respect Online. Online.
I Respect Online. Go check that out, folks. If you get a chance, hang out more with Fiona, learn more from her. Fiona Lucas, you are fantastic, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, by the way. Pleasure having you on. So we will see everyone next week. I think we're at 8 a.m. I think Eastern Standard Time, Phil.
I think so. Let me look real quick.
Sheldon Payne.
Sheldon Payne, bring the pain. 8 o'clock. That's right. Yep. Sheldon will be bringing it with us next week, 8 o'clock Eastern, midnight Fiona time, and wherever the heck Kristen shows up from, we'll see him there.
Love it.
So, thanks everyone a lot.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you later.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's Day. Sending you Social Chefs love.